MLB タイムズ。こんにちは。 MLB タイムズの時間です。投手陣がキャンプインしましたね。ようやく始まりました。本日は今年のドジャースについて MLB 公式で話されていましたので、そちらの動画をご覧ください。
So earlier in the show, Joel Sherman gave us his biggest question marks heading into spring. The Dodgers get their own separate list, just cuz. You know why. Joel Sherman, good Monday morning again to you. At the top of it is the plan for Shohei Ohtani. Perfect world. What does this year look like for Shohei, Joel?
Yeah, they get their own list because they'll never say it out loud, but they think they've already clinched the NL West. So they're thinking October in February and March and April. So the question is, how do you get Shohei Ohtani through October to be part of that rotation? And so I think there's a little track record here. He made 23 starts for the Angels in 2021 coming off of Tommy John surgery. So say you limit that to 20, thinking he's going to get other starts. That probably puts you mid-May, maybe the 1st of June as that. So I don't think you'll see him starting games in spring training. The other thing is this guy is a real habitual guy. So I think once he starts, he doesn't want to do a start and stop. And so therefore, I think, and then the question becomes, how do you rehab a guy who's in your starting lineup every day? It isn't like you could send him out on assignment. I expect to see a lot of Rancho Cucamonga Quakes coming up to Dodger Stadium. There'll be a bunch of simulated games, and they'll try to get him ready. Let's not forget that at the end of last season, the Dodgers were weighing whether to make him available as even a relief pitcher in the postseason. He was throwing 93 with a split. So they feel he's a healthy pitcher going into now, but they are slow playing this so that he's an October starting pitcher.
Come up and face Shohei. Have fun. While you're here, all the arms allow him, as you said, Joel, to kind of ease into it. Who's playing shortstop? I saw, and Robert and Harold reported, Kike Hernandez back with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Who's at short this year?
Well, Mookie Betts played 61 games there last year, kind of almost out of emergency. If you remember, Gavin Lux had some throwing issues in spring training, and Betts said, I'll do it. He wasn't real pleased with how he did it. And anybody who knows Betts, he's kind of fanatical about doing things well. I've heard he's really going at this. High schools in Los Angeles, then down to their facility in Arizona, working with Chris Woodward. Harold would probably speak to this better. The key thing being, an outfielder usually throws from one angle. He's been working on all the different throwing angles. And I heard he still has a little chip on his shoulder that as a young player soon drafted by the Red Sox, he was quickly moved off a shortstop. And all these years later would like to prove that he's a high-level shortstop.
The great ones are different, right? Mookie is amazing. You've talked with Dave Roberts extensively, and he always says his versatility allows him so much freedom. Mookie Betts, Roki. It's so interesting with Roki Sasaki because so often we hear about talent, right? And this guy's talent's off the charts. But before they do anything, how do we know it's going to translate? When you watch him, you just know with this guy, Joel?
Well, a year ago, he was being compared at the same age to Paul Skeens, and we saw what Paul Skeens did last season. So do you get something similar? The question is how to break him in. And again, I can't stress this enough with everything with the Dodgers. They are thinking about Sasaki starting games in October. How will they get there? Six-man rotation is going to be part of this. They're ultimately going to have three Japanese pitchers, Sasaki, Yamamoto, and Ohtani, guys who are used to pitching once a week in Japan. Dustin May and Tony Gonsolin didn't even pitch last year. By the way, you know what's happening tomorrow? Dustin May is throwing a bullpen tomorrow. Tony Gonsolin on Wednesday. They're both expected to be full-go starters going into this. 134 innings for Tyler Glasnow last year, which was a career high, but then he got hurt, and so didn't pitch in the postseason. And so the only kind of fully guy who they believe can go soup to nuts is Blake Snell, but he got his big money, so it's a little easier to tell him he's in a six-man rotation. Then you see these other names like Bobby Miller, Landon Knox, Justin Wroblewski. At some point, Emmett Sheehan is going to come back from Tommy John. So I doubt anyone in this rotation will throw 150 innings, including Sasaki. It's a soft entry, thinking big picture in October.
Where's Kershaw? I don't see it. I keep thinking, is that the finishing touch for the Dodgers?
But they need more starting pitching. Yes, at some point, Lauren, he's going to sign. Today is an important day for the Dodgers. They get to do, them and the Cubs get to do this a little earlier than everybody else because they're going to play games in Tokyo to open the season in mid-March. Players could be put on the 60-day injured list starting today for the Dodgers. And if you'll notice, Enrique Hernandez announced himself that he had re-signed. It had been also slow played so that they could put guys on the 60-day IL, which allows 40-man roster spots to open up. So they have a bunch of pitchers like Emmett Sheehan, who has to go on it, River Ryan, etc., who have to go on the 60-day IL. So Hernandez signed, and I think at some point soon Kershaw will. But Kershaw had both, I think it was a foot and knee surgery in the offseason because he wants to try. He had these surgeries because he wants to try. So he is a June or July issue, but at some point soon he'll probably sign a contract and begin rehabbing officially with the team and see if he can make it back to be part of that rotation in some way.
What about at the helm, top step, Dave Roberts? I remember, Joel, right after the Dodgers won the World Series, I was talking to Freddie Freeman, and he said, I hope, that guy right there, I hope Dave Roberts gets his flowers because the way he managed the bullpen, and Freddie Freeman was so emotional talking about his skipper. What is his long-term future there?
You know what's interesting overall, Lauren, is the two World Series managers, Dave Roberts and Aaron Boone, both enter spring training as lame ducks. This is the last year of their contracts. And I think both teams are going to try to do something about that. I believe the Dodgers and Roberts began to engage more seriously last week. But, you know, Roberts is looking at someone like Craig Counsell, who got the record contract, 5 years at $40 million. And I just want to name some things that Dave Roberts has done. 9 years, 9 playoffs, 8 division titles. The year he didn't win a division title, his team won 106 games, 4 pennants, 2 championships, the 3 highest win totals in franchise history, the best winning percentage by a major league manager with 1,000 games. He probably is looking at Craig Counsell and saying, like, Craig Counsell hasn't gotten a team to the World Series. He's getting this. I think the Dodgers look at Roberts as part of the machine, and that. But I think it's dangerous to think anyone could just manage what is now the new evil empire. The Dodgers are going to have a lot of pressure on them. There's been talk about them winning 120 games. It's championship or bust. The one thing you know is Dave Roberts could land the planes, and there would be some real mystery if the next person can. And so I wonder, for a team that's going to have between salary, payroll, and luxury tax will spend over $500 million this year. Should there really be a thumb down on the manager for the difference between $1 million or $2 million to get him where he needs to go? And you know he could land the planes. It will be an issue heading towards the season if this gets done.
And you manage baseball, personalities, staff. It's a big-time job. Joel Sherman, how many wins do the Dodgers have this year? 105?
I think it's harder. Yeah, I think it's harder to get to that, like 116, 117. But I mean, you know, like the 105 feels like a breeze for them considering the talent level. Considering they signed someone like Kike Hernandez, and it feels like an extra guy, and he's a really good baseball player. Especially he got glasses just before the All-Star game last year, and in the second half had almost an 800 OPS. And I wonder if he's going to be much better doing it.
Joel Sherman.
I gotta go, Lauren. I got to get on a plane. I'm going to spring training today.
Go!
いかがでしたか？大谷選手をはじめ日本人3投手が10月に投げるだろうという予想であったり、新しい選手も含めいろんな要素がありましたね。ドジャースは一体何勝するのかも気になりますね。ちなみに MLB シーズン最多勝利は1906年のカブスと2001年のマリナーズが記録している116勝になります。ここを超えれるのかも注目していいところではありますね。本日もご視聴ありがとうございました。チャンネル登録、高評価よろしくお願いいたします。